Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Dr. Laura Basha and it's June 2020. I wanted to talk a little bit more today, big surprise, about the role of thought and how our thinking creates our experience of reality. And you know, I have the basis of all my work over the years, almost 40 years, has been connected to how our thinking impacts our experience of life. So I wrote a dissertation on this. I worked as a clinician with patients with this model. I've done my coaching practice is based on this model, and my public speaking is based on this model. So it's been, I kind of think of myself as someone who really has a handle on how my thinking creates my experience of life. And I was in a conversation this weekend with some people, and I had a whole other layer of seeing how insidious the thinking that I have, like the data that I have inputted into this computer of my intellect, has impacted me. And how much I still don't see how my personal thinking is impacting how I perceive life. So there's personal thinking, which is the kind of thinking that automatically is consistently going on in the background. We are thinking, meaning-making machines. That's a conversation that's out there with a lot of people's work right now. It's not news. However, taking the time to see more and more deeply how much that really impacts your experience of living, it's worth taking some time to look at it. So what I was seeing this weekend was how much I've identified with that way of thinking. Now, the thinking I'm talking about is how we've put ourselves together in life based on the past. So all the things that happened to us when we were children, the culture we were raised in, the religious beliefs that our community or our parents had, the way our parents saw life, our educational levels, and the experiences we had in education. All that goes into the data bank and becomes what creates us being who we are today. So this person, Laura, is designed in such a way based on the events that happened to me in my life and how I interpreted those, like what the meaning that I gave those events. And then I forget that I gave events meaning. I even forget about the events. But the conversation, the dialogue inside of my thinking that has pretty much become invisible by this point is really interpreting the show. It informs my life now as to how I see things, and it's so automatic that I'm not even aware that it's happening. So one place that I started to see this weekend that I really became more aware of the insidiousness of thinking. Now, when I say thinking or personal thought, it's distinct from what I would call inspired thought or insight, which is the kind of thing that when you're willing, like as an artist, when you're willing to be present and listen for what you don't know, it's a really deep way of listening. You sort of take your attention off of what you know and off of the automatic thinking that's going on in the background, and you listen to the quietness that's actually inside. that gives rise to genius. That's where E equals MC squared comes from. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the kind of automatic thinking that's always going on. The kind of thinking that says, well, he's really a nice person, but, or, oh my gosh, the way my hair looks today, or, getting in a huge conversation, should I keep coloring my hair? Should I let my hair go silver? What is that going to mean? What is that going to look like? The kind of stuff that kind of keeps us busy. I saw how attached I can be to it without even realizing how attached I can be. So I become so attached to it that I identify with it. And when I identify with it, I think I'm my thoughts. And it really cuts me off from freedom of expression, freedom of really being present to see what's actually going on. I talked in the last video about, the couple of the last videos actually with the pandemic that we're in right now, the social, the sheltering at home that we're all dealing with right now, is that it's often inside of this world of fear where, we maybe watch the news and everything's fine, and then we turn on the news and we listen to the newscasters start talking about all the people that are dying and all the horrible symptoms that, that this virus creates in people, and now there's something with children that is morphing into something different for children. And, you listen to this for a while and you start getting terrified, even though nothing's happened from the time before you turned on the TV to the time that you stopped listening to the TV. But who you are being from before, when you were, walking through the house, minding your own business, and then after you watch the news, it's like, oh my God, there's so much I better be careful about. There's so much that could happen. There's so much that I'm afraid of. I saw how much I identify with that without even realizing it. And once I saw how much I identified with that way of thinking, that quality of thinking, and the impact it was having on me, I got to see, well, who is it that's noticing that I'm identified with that? Who am I really? Like, there's an other besides the one who's identified with the thinking. There's an other who is outside of that world of thinking. And I'm so attached to that personal thinking that I end up chasing it around in my head, like I'm going to be able to stop that incessant thinking, or I'm going to be able to fix that incessant thinking, or I'm going to be able to at least slow it down. But what I started to see was, no, once I'm in the world of being identified with my thinking, I'm on a hamster wheel. I'm in a closed circuit. There's no way out. The only way out is to notice the part of me that's seeing that I'm attached. Who is that? Who is that? Who is the one who notices, wait a minute, nothing's changed in the room since before I turned on the TV and after. And before I turned on the TV, I was feeling pretty good. I wasn't even thinking about this. But after I turned on the TV, I'm completely caught up in my concerns about the virus again. Like, oh my God, I better not forget. I just thought it was just really amazing and kind of absurd that who I've been identifying myself as is this data bank of thought that was created all from the past, all in my history, and the stories that I made up about what happened in my past, that's the cultural mindset I've been living from. And once I can distinguish that from the eternal self that I am, you might call it the spiritual self that I am, the true self that I am, that is timeless and doesn't have a conversation going on. It's just really quiet and it's really present. When I can see that, then I have a possibility of being connected to my eternal self, which basically is finding my way back home to peace of mind, to well-being, to common sense. I'm still going to wash my hands. I'm still going to socially distance. I'm still going to, keep things clean, disinfect the countertops as much as I can. But that's what I can do to keep myself safe in the situation that we're in. But who I can be while I'm doing that is I can be someone who is peace of mind, wisdom, compassion, common sense, and I can experience my life with a kind of equilibrium and appreciation and gratitude while I go about my business doing what needs to be done given the circumstances that we're in. I hope this was helpful. I wish you well. Until next time. Bye-bye.